How to use a two-legged pullback indicator to count legs. The two-legged pullback indicator automatically counts and keeps track of all legs. Remember, there are both bull legs and bear legs. The bull legs are numbered underneath the candles, whereas the bear legs are numbered above the candles. Here, let's take a look at the bull legs. We see here that there is a number 1. This number 1 means that this is the first bull leg in a series. We have a bear leg here, and once the candle breaks a prior candle's high, then that commences the next bull leg, which we see here with a number 2. Remember, the count continues as long as a pivot low doesn't break below the prior pivot low. Here we see a 3, because we see that this bear leg has commenced, and then when a candle breaks a prior candle's high, the bull leg commences. Here we have a 4, where this is the pivot low, and here we have a 5, where it breaks above the prior candle high. See that this count continues, though this looks like it's higher, but notice that the pivot low is right here, and the pivot low is right here. So this pivot low is still higher than the prior pivot low. The 6 commences, and the pivot low is higher than the previous pivot low, and the 7 commences here, where this pivot low is equal to the prior pivot low, but not breaking underneath, so the count continues. The count continues until we get a pivot low that breaks the prior pivot low. And we see that in this tremendous bull trend, we have 14, 15, 16, 17 legs before a pivot low breaks a prior pivot low. And finally, we see the count reset right here with number 1. The count resets right here because this pivot low breaks beneath this pivot low, resetting the count. That's how you count the bull legs. Now let's take a look at the bear legs. We see that with this number 1, that this is the first bear leg in a series. We have the first bear leg, and then a bull leg commences. And then after the bull leg, once a candle breaks a prior candle's low, the next bear leg continues. And we see the number continues to count up until, for bear legs, a pivot high breaks above a prior pivot high. And so we have a 2 here. This breaks above and then breaks below here, making this the 3rd bear leg in the series, the 4th bear leg, 5th bear leg, 6th bear leg, 7th bear leg, 8th bear leg, and finally, until we come all the way up here with this number 1, the count resets. This count resets because this pivot high is above the prior pivot high, which is right here. So this is why we see a number 1 with the count resetting. And that's how the two-legged pullback indicator counts and keeps track of all your legs. Always remember that there is always a count for the bear legs, simultaneously happening with a count with the bull legs, all following its own rules. For instance, we have bull legs here counting up 1, 2, 3, and simultaneously we have the bear legs counting 1, 2, and 3, where the numbers are both increasing. That typically happens during triangles where you have higher lows and lower highs. Finally, at its apex, breaking down in this particular situation. This is extremely helpful, especially when you want to identify two-legged pullbacks. In order to find two-legged pullbacks, you need to learn how to count legs, because you need to know when there are 2 bull legs or 2 bear legs in order to find second entries with the dark red and dark green numbers.